to Chicken for Breakfast podcast, where we have all the answers to one very simple question.
What's cooking?
I'm your host, Magic, and you know him, you love him, you're the fan favorite.
You better.
David, what's up, man? Welcome to the
man?
podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Man, before we really get into this, we need to talk about something here. This set, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, this set is something to be talked about.
Absolutely, dare I say, one of the best sets in Cleveland, Ohio right now.
From all the stuff I've seen of kind of like amateur starting out podcasts, yeah, I'd say this is a pretty phenomenal set.
Now, I will say, sets don't make or break podcasts, but this definitely is not
hurting.
Helps.
It sure
this
helps.
Definitely is not hurting. This is a really, really fun set. Shout out to Studio Zero, repping some merch today as well.
Yeah.
Shout out to our producer, Armand, behind the thing there.
Yeah, Armand is part of the reason this whole set came together in the first place.
100%. We were actually in here a couple days ago, yesterday, kind of building everything up, making sure the set looks good.
Yeah.
Really, pretty much a whole workshop day, making sure it looks good.
Yeah.
So I'm not mad at it. This is a really dope set. So thank you so much to Studio Zero, and I guess ifilm.cle.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you all for the space.
Yeah, the space, the gear, the the skill set. I mean, these are skills that we honed doing ifilm, doing 100%. Studio Zero. So I mean, really, it couldn't happen without him.
100%. This is definitely we were talking about it off camera, but this is definitely an improvement from Chicken for Breakfast before.
Yeah, or what we had before.
And there's nothing wrong with what we had before, but this is like, and maybe I'm just really into it because I saw how much work we were putting into it. But it looks really good, and I'm happy with it. So
yeah, I think this is how we always imagined it going. This is like when you think of like, I want to do a podcast, you want something that looks like this, that looks professionally done, looks like it put a lot of love and care into it. And I think this is just a natural, kind of a natural place we ended up with, from starting from the beginning. I think every episode got better and better and better, and now here we are. And we look like we know what we're doing.
we at least play the part for sure.
Yeah.
So David, let's get into this.
Yeah. Let's kick it off.
We got a couple things to talk about. Number one is I do want to jump into studio. I want to talk a little bit about our work with the studio, because we work together in a lot of different things.
Yeah.
We do a lot together.
Yeah, we do.
So that's one thing I want to talk about. But how are you doing? What's cooking?
I mean, honestly, this is cooking. I mean, like, I haven't really been doing much else outside of like, I work, and then I either come home and I'm doing chicken for breakfast, or or I'm just doing my own thing. So like, this is what's been cooking lately.
I'm not mad at it.
No, I'm not mad. I'm having fun.
I'm having a lot of fun, by the way. I wanted to tell you. I know we talk about it a lot, but the React videos going smooth. Yeah. Great idea. Glad we started doing that. Our other installments, BG3, that's going good.
Yeah.
But what I'm really curious about, David, is so we did a podcast one time, and we've mentioned this before too, but we did a podcast one time. It was like 45 minutes long.
Something like that, yeah.
It was really good. It was a really dope podcast. We got to meet David for the first time.
Yeah.
And then we lost it. Horribly wrong.
Lost the time.
We were on set. I caught a fly midair. It was dope.
Yeah, it was pretty. From what I remember, it was a pretty fantastic episode. How long ago do you think since we filmed that? It was probably in like around the summer of last year, you think?
Yeah, almost a year ago. I would say almost a year ago.
Yeah.
That's when we were really working on a lot of our music-based content with the studio.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. So,
yeah.
I think it was, I'd say about 10 months ago. About 10.
Probably something like that. So it's been a while. It's been a long while. And it's about time we're back here.
100%. And again, on a really, really dope set.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Studio Zero, how you got involved with them.
Man.
Really just lay it out for us.
That's going back. So Studio Zero. So I guess really, let's say this starts in 2018, because that's where it starts for me. So Studio Zero is the idea of a few pretty important people. Um, First of all, my dad um, wouldn't be here without him. In so far as here at the studio, but also like living, he helped create me. So I wouldn't be here without him. But it really started with a meeting between my dad and Marquette Williams, right? I first met Marquette in 2018. He come by the house. I've seen him a couple times here and there, but I was formally introduced to him sometime in 2018. I think in the later half of the year, and it was a quick meeting. It was mostly he came in, gave me some good advice, and then kind of left me to my own devices. I don't remember really what I was doing around at that time. Probably nothing. Probably didn't have much of a job. Um, Probably wasn't really going out. Wasn't really doing any work in the industry or for myself at that time. Um, and basically, after that meeting, I didn't see him for probably like another year or so, maybe more. Um, Probably until 2019. In 2019, I met him again, and this time he came with similar advice because as a somewhat young dude, some guy who's been in the industry for years comes and gives you all this really nice advice, and then goes, and it's like, well, I don't know how to act on that advice. Like, it's good advice, but
Right.
like, did I even know it was good advice at the time? Do I know
Right.
how to act on it? Absolutely not. But he came back to meet again because him and my dad were very good friends. Um, and on that second meeting, he actually hooked me up with a job, and that job was helping a local filmmaker on a documentary about it was about organ transplants,
Hmm.
and it was called what's the name? Let There Be Life. Let There Be Life by Erica Nicklick. And that was a very interesting experience. It was a lot of things. One of my first major jobs that wasn't me working for myself or working with a group of people that I went to college with or something like that. So I was hired. Interview. We'll test you out for like a week or two and see how you do, and then like you grow from there. And so that's really like where my story with Studio Zero gets kicked off. So I did the whole thing with the documentary. It went well and it went bad. It went bad because the actual whole like work thing we were doing, everything we were doing was just an absolute disaster. At least from my perspective. But I learned a lot. A lot of people are like, David, why are you so chill? Why are you so cool? How can you roll with the punches like that? It's because of that. It's because of that. I was really pushed to my limit during that time. It was like the first time I'd ever been working on a project where I was throwing down like 14-hour days. I was like a one-man team. Like, my editing credits up to that point really hadn't been anything where I was on my own and doing it. And like a lot of responsibility, was put on my shoulders. And that's kind of why it went bad. But also, like, I learned a lot about myself. I started to really take my job seriously, take the business side of it seriously too. How do I negotiate? How do I argue for better pay? How do I, work with someone who has their own ideas that might be totally separate from mine?
Hmm.
So I learned a lot from that. And then after that project kind of ended and I stepped back from it, um, in came Marquette one more time. And this time with a couple other projects. So my first official Studio Zero project was working with on some videos for someone you've met before, and that would be Reed. You remember Reed?
Oh yeah.
You know Reed.
Okay. All right.
Um, Reed, great dude, big dude, strong dude, but he was putting out a workout line of clothing, and Marquette and a dude he knew by the name of Chris, who was his camera guy at the time, filmed a bunch of promos for workout equipment and workout gear, and I edited them, and they turned out pretty good. I was probably way in over my head. I was working with red footage Never touched a red camera in my life. So working with that was kind of crazy. I was working with an underpowered computer, so it was all a struggle. But I learned. And then it was, a couple more projects after that, and a couple more here and there. Um, we covered, what did we do? We did the mayoral race for mayor of Cleveland between Justin Bibb and uh, Kevin Kelly, and that was kind of my first thing doing that. Politics. Who knew I'd be, politicking and all that? But there I was cutting those videos, doing those shoots, and then it just the work kept coming. It never really slowed down.
So you really just
Yeah.
got your start by kind of getting thrown into it, which is
Yeah.
kind of fun.
I mean, but that's like, how else do you do it? Like, I had been to film school, I had done work. At that point, when I started the stuff with Reed on his clothing brand, Stag, by the way, is the name of it. At that point, I had done some business promos for an entrepreneur group in Cleveland. I had done a documentary. I had done a short film. They had gone to film festivals. They had won awards. But after that, that was all college. So after I left college, I was kind of lost. I didn't really know where to go. I didn't know how to bid on projects. I didn't know where I should look, or who I should be hooking up with. And Marquette was that guy. So yeah, we've been working together ever since. And it's been a good thing.
Shout out to Marquette for
Yeah,
real.
yeah. My and in that time, my dad passed away, and I kind of stepped up.
Yeah,
That
fair.
was a lot of pivotal stuff happened in my life all at that time. So definitely wouldn't be here today without great men in my life, and great opportunities, and great hardship.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's a really fun story.
it is.
I don't think I've ever heard that story before. That's really fun.
I don't tell it too often because it's a lot. I mean, we're talking 3 or 4 years of just like backstory. But I when I do tell that story to people, a lot of people are like, you should make a documentary about that.
Yeah, that would be
You should
really
make a
exciting.
documentary about that. I've had an interesting life. I've had a lot of interesting stuff go on. So I think that's probably the direction I would go. I maybe I will turn it into a documentary. I don't know.
Definitely should. I don't know if there's a specific like autobiography documentary kind of thing, but either way,
Yeah.
you should definitely make a production out of it
Yeah.
because kind of sounds like, and I mean, I don't want it to come off the wrong way, but like zero to hero kind of guy,
Oh, no,
where
100%.
you're kind of in a situation, right, where I have some skills, I just got out of college, right,
Yeah.
just finished everything up, I've kind of got nothing going on, and then in like just a visit.
Yeah.
Just a visit from a person.
Yeah.
Right. And you maybe even that first time, and I don't want to, misconstrue the situation, but maybe in that first time, like you didn't really did you expect to meet him again?
No, no. And because like my dad is a lifelong businessman. That was who he was from the youngest age to now, which is let's say 50, almost 60 years. This guy has been working his own businesses, his
Wow.
own thing. So like, I've met people. I've met a lot of people, and usually it's just once or twice, you know. But that was because I was always out kind of on the outside. My dad would push me into, hey, come meet these people. Maybe you can kick something off. And like, I wasn't that guy. I wasn't that guy. You're
Yeah.
not that guy. I wasn't that guy. Not at all. The person I am today is so much different from the person I was, a few years ago. So it really has been like, we said we couldn't really be here without iFilm or Studio Zero, with the equipment and the building and all that. Like, the man I am today is very much shaped by those things. I was the first guy through iFilm before iFilm was really even a thing. Before, when it was more an idea than a program. I was the first guy through it. I'm like, I'd say like, hey, pretty successful.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say so.
I'd say so.
I mean, here you are living
Yeah.
living proof,
Yeah.
which does actually bring us to now.
Yeah.
Because I met you, I would say when I first started working at the school, Marquette also was working at the school.
Yep.
So I met you through Marquette as well.
Yeah.
That connection. I popped by the studio, showed you my demo reel, started just working with y'all on some
Yeah,
stuff, and
yeah.
that was quite I would say from that moment on, I've really been pushed in my editing knowledge as well. So I would
Yeah.
definitely stand behind the statement that Studio Zero, iFilm, Marquette, all of those things combined,
Yeah.
just the last 2 years of life,
It
have
works.
really been shaped
Yeah.
to you know not only the present moment of where we're at,
Mhm.
but the people, the experiences.
Yeah.
And I think I honestly feel like that's opportunity that a lot of people don't get.
They don't, which is why we do this, because
100%.
it's paying it forward. It's offering those opportunities that maybe some people didn't have, or that they didn't know how to take advantage of. You know?
100%. Which brings us to now.
Yeah,
So we're doing a lot now.
we
We're
are. I
like
mean, you can see it right here. We're
yeah,
doing. There's a lot going on here.
we're doing a lot in terms of studio stuff as
Yeah.
well as our channel stuff
Yeah.
as well as teaching together. How how would you say that is affecting you?
Um.
If that makes sense. That was kind
Yeah.
of a
No.
weird
No.
word question.
I think. It might be kind of weird to say. For the first time, I feel like I'm really living. You know,
Hmm.
like I'm out and about. I'm meeting new people every day, forging new relationships. I'm teaching. Never thought I'd be teaching. What a weird thing. Like I don't like school all that much. I kind of enjoy teaching. You know, and then just like the breadth of things we've done. Um, Even just me and you together. I mean, we've worked on projects with the State Department. We've done music videos, bunch of business promos. We've done our own short film.
That is true.
Yeah, shout out Secret Nights. I mean,
Yeah.
that was us, and
Especially that
yeah,
trailer though.
yeah, that was that was the beginning of our work relationship outside of the studio, outside of iFilm, outside of Studio Zero. I think that's probably the first thing we worked on that was us coming together and saying we want to do this, with the help of the school, of course. But I can't say it enough, but it's profoundly changed my life in like so many different ways. Um, it's funny. I tell people all the time, like you would think the worst year of your life would be the year your dad dies, and then a few months before my dad died, my grandfather died as well. So
Man.
you'd think like when the year where two of the most influential men in your life are gone would be the worst year of your life, but some way somehow it was the best year of my life. Absolutely 100% it was the best year of my life.
Yeah, that sounds really wild.
It's
That
crazy. It's
sounds
so
really
crazy to think
wild.
about, but it's like it's what I think it's what I needed. I hate to say it. I hate to be that guy. Like the push I needed to really grab life by the reins was like a bunch of important people around me needed to die to be sacrificed for it. But it
Yeah.
kind of played out that way. It kind
Yeah.
of played out that way. So
Well, I think it just, and maybe again, maybe I'm wrong because I'm not in
no,
these
hit me with
moments,
it. Yeah.
but I just feel like maybe there's a situation there that you have to grab something.
100%.
You have to.
100%.
Like it's just like a
Those,
maybe you didn't need that to happen, but you
No,
definitely were forced into a
I probably
situation.
needed it. I probably needed it. The guy I needed to be forced in a situation where like I had no choice but to step up. And I found like a lot of the times for me, that's how I learn. That's how I become better. That's how I grow. The only way for me to do that is you know just do it. That's the only way it works for me.
Word.
So it really was a blessing. It really was.
I'm glad you can take that. I'm sorry about all that, but
Yeah,
it kind of, at least there's a positive outlook on it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely not easy to talk about.
It's
So
not, because there's a lot of feelings there. It's excitement, it's sadness. In a way, it mirrors the life my dad went through, because same deal happened to him. Same time in his life, early 20s. His dad suddenly dies, and then it's like, oh, now I got to take over. Now I got to run stuff, and like that's what happened to me. So it's funny how those things play out, and here I am, holding it down as best I can,
yeah.
getting better day by day.
Well, for what it's worth, it's really a dope experience to know you,
Yeah,
man. It's
yeah,
really you're really making a difference, and I say that on behalf of students. I say that on behalf of everyone you work with here at the studio.
Yeah.
I'm proud to be a part of the studio, man.
Me too.
I'm posting stuff
Me
about it
too.
all the time. Again, I say this all the time, but I have actively dropped a lot of important things
Yeah.
just to do
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
And that is a scary situation to be in. That is a nerve-wracking because, you always have those thoughts like, what if it doesn't work?
Yeah.
What if I bombed it? And
Oh
it's
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
just don't bomb it.
Yeah.
And that sounds easy on paper, but it's a lot easier to do that when you have people like David, when you have people like Marquette, when you have people in the same space as you who
Yeah.
want to see not only yourself but the team as a whole just continue to grow.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the things that we're about to start doing.
Yeah.
We're about to start doing some cool,
Yeah.
crazy things, David.
But even the stuff, the stuff we've done have been just as cool and just as crazy.
That is true. That is true.
I think this whole experience, Studio Zero, ifilm, the program, learning, teaching, I think it really all goes to show that like when you bring together a group of people who actually care, like really cool stuff starts happening. And I think the only way you get into that is to give up some of that comfort. For me, like you've given up jobs, work, paychecks, living in a way. I didn't really have that when I started. I was just kind of doing my own thing, coasting along, gliding along, but like that was still comfortable for me, right? It was comfortable to be home most days, chilling, doing my own thing, playing games, hanging out with my friends. And like it was uncomfortable to trade that for like long
Right.
hours, nonstop hours.
Yeah.
Like I really haven't stopped working since Studio Zero first came into my life. Like it really hasn't been a whole lot of downtime. When we went to do that kind of showcase of our work as ifilm and as Studio Zero at that art exhibit, and we all kind of sat out there and gave interviews, I said something that I still think holds true to this day, and that I always think is really funny, is like when I first started out, it was just me. There really wasn't anybody else. It really was just me. And I would always think to myself, I wish I had more people to make this work easier. And we got more people, and the work only got harder. And so you would think, I wish we had more people to make it easier. And we got more people, and the work only got harder. But I love that. I love that.
You love that because
it makes me better.
Oh,
and it
okay.
makes you better.
That
and
is
it
true.
Makes the people behind the cameras better, right? That's the only way we get better at this stuff is to keep fighting, to keep making ourselves uncomfortable, to spend 7 hours setting up a set, when I would rather be doing, sitting at home kicking it, but like when those 7 hours are up and I look back on what we've built, like it was all worth it. It was always worth it.
100%. Yeah, man, you got me all like moved.
I'm
You're on
tingles.
yeah,
tingles.
man, you are really
yeah, you are down.
You are, man.
I mean, because this is like, I see the big picture now. I see it, and I know it works. I know it all works. I'm living proof of it.
You are, man.
Works.
You are, and you're cooking. That's what's cooking. David is what's cooking.
So that's what I'm saying. That's what's cooking. This is what's cooking. The studio is what's cooking. And it really, really is. It really, really is.
Well, I personally appreciate you. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we're doing all of our other content on the channel.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
But man, we got to keep going.
We have to.
We got to keep climbing.
We can't slow down now.
All this.
We can't slow down now.
This is just the beginning.
Like
bro.
we can't be worse than this now. We can't do that. We can't like go down in quality.
Yeah.
Like we were
100%.
I mean, we better not. My goal is only up, and we got big things planned. We got a lot of cool stuff planned. And the great part is you all get to watch it happen.
You do.
You get to watch it.
You get to be here, be a part of it. I will say that if you do want to see some of the stuff we're doing, and I'm kind of stealing the words out of your mouth before you say them, but definitely go check out Studio Zero. I think we have a YouTube page where you can find some of our older content, our music-based stuff, some things we used to work on. Definitely follow us on Instagram.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are those?
Instagram, Studio0216, and ifilm.cle.
Definitely go follow us, check us out. Uh, I know the two of us are super active in that.
Yeah.
David especially. Um, we're doing something all the time. We are always
Absolutely.
doing something.
There's no rest.
I thought it was funny. This is the first week of everything that I've been at the studio every single day.
Oh yeah.
I've been here every day since Monday, and I'm gonna come in tomorrow, and I'm gonna do all of it again.
Yeah, we'll see if I make it in tomorrow, but
Yeah.
it's and not only is it, not only is it that we've been here every day, but I feel like we've been doing substantial work every day.
Yes. We've been building a foundation for a few of the things coming up, which is far greater than anything. And I mean, we had, I would say, 2 big projects this week. At least one.
Yeah.
One big production happened on Friday.
Yeah.
So, that's how it goes. But at the end of the day, we should probably wrap this episode up. But it was really good to get to know you.
Absolutely.
Get to know you from not necessarily the goofy side, the lighthearted YouTube React video side, but just as like a person and a friend and just a really dope dude.
Yeah, I think part of the art, is that at the heart of it is like real people and real stuff going down, and I think it's the only way people are really going to understand what you're doing if you just straight up tell them what you're all about.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
I know how you feel about social media, so I'm not even gonna say it. But
I mean, I gave out the studio, I gave out the iFilm. I mean, I have my own social media. It's not used for anything, and most of it's personal at this point. Although I've tried to keep it business, it's more personal than anything. Eventually, when I get off my butt and decide to do it, I will have social media, and we'll be plugging that thing.
100%. Well, thank you for being here today. Thank you for the heartwarming story and the inspiration. I think that there's someone who needs to hear that story.
Yeah.
And maybe it was me. Maybe it was me.
It was me once upon a time. I was the one who needed to hear all this. So I know there are people out there who need that and who need us.
That is true. There's always someone who needs someone else.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm kind of bringing it back in, but like, I've always felt that you cannot go anywhere in life without the help of one other person, at least one other person.
No,
I've never met a single person, whether it be a celebrity, whether it just be a person, whether it be, a musician, an artist, a doctor.
Yeah.
No one has ever gotten to where they are without the help of somebody else.
Yeah.
So I think it's always important to stop and cherish those moments, those people, those interactions, that network. Just take the time to appreciate that. Take the time to be in those moments because you never know.
Yeah, that's what life's all about, and that's what art's all about. This stuff doesn't happen. This ain't a one-man crew here. This ain't a one-man show. So it's as true to life as it is true to the art and the work we do.
That's a great place to end it, David. Thank you so much. We will catch you on the next one.